All right, time to dive into a topic that I am very excited about, mana. We're tackling a listener question today, and
It's one that I think a lot of us, especially fantasy writers, kind of gloss over in the excitement of creating a magic system.
no, absolutely.
But this listener, they went there.
Yeah.
They're asking, how much mana does it take to fling a fireball?
I love that. It's so simple, but like you said, it's something that often gets overlooked, and it can really get to the core of how a magic
Mhm.
system works, or doesn't, depending on the
It
kind of
is
world you're building.
exactly. And you know what? We have some thoughts. So, listeners, buckle up because today we're all about the nitty-gritty of mana and fireballs.
Let's do it.
Okay, so to start off, I got to say, I love that our listener is already thinking in terms of mana. It means we don't have to do a whole what is magic
Hmm.
thing?
Right, we can just jump right in. And the thing is, there's not going to be one right answer.
Oh, never is there?
Well, right. Fantasy is so broad. It all depends on how magic works in your world. Some systems, they have a fixed cost for spells. Like a fireball always costs this much mana no matter what.
Okay, so kind of like I'm imagining like a video game, right?
Exactly.
You've got your mana bar.
Exactly.
You know how much that fireball is going to cost.
Yeah.
You got to decide, do I have enough? Is it worth it?
Yeah, exactly. You see that a lot, like classic Vancian magic based on Jack Vance, D&D, that kind of thing. It's structured, you've got your spell slots very clear.
Okay, I'm into that.
Yeah.
I like having some limitations,
Yeah.
adds strategy.
Yeah.
But I can also see how that might feel a little too rigid for some stories.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where you get into more fluid systems.
Yeah.
Brandon Sanderson, he does this really well, especially in his Mistborn series. Magic is tied to consuming and burning metals. And the more you burn, the more powerful the effect.
Okay, now that is cool. That's not just mana. That's like magic with actual physical consequences.
Exactly. And that plays into the story, the power dynamics, everything.
See, this is what I love. Like, suddenly we're not just talking about numbers. We're talking about what that mana represents in the world.
World building at its finest, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've talked fixed costs. We've talked about magic with physical consequences. What about systems where, like, the cost is tied to the user's skill?
Now you're getting into soft magic systems, more about like personal talent, understanding the underlying principles. The King Killer Chronicle by Patrick Rothfuss is a great example.
Okay, I've heard amazing things about that series.
Hmm.
How does it work in that world?
So magic is about knowing the true names of things. The more skilled you are, the less inherent energy it takes to do something. But there's always a risk. Like pushing yourself too far, that has consequences.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's not just mana, that's tension. Makes the story that much more gripping because you never know what the true cost might be.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it. The mana cost isn't just a number, it's a reflection of the entire magic system, the world, everything.
So basically what we're saying to our listener is don't get too hung up on the numbers until you know what those numbers mean in your world.
Right. Figure out what you want that cost to represent. Is it about like resource management or personal risk, the inherent danger of magic itself?
And once you know that, the answer to how much mana will kind of reveal itself.
It'll feel organic to the story you're trying to tell.
Love that. So listeners, as always, it's about those choices. And hey, if you come up with a particularly cool mana system,
Tell us about it. We always love to hear what you all are working on.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Until next time, happy writing.